Jai Hind everyone. My name is Mukulit Goel and I am Assistant Professor in Department of MCA in Akgec Engineering College, Ghaziabad. And today I am taking a lecture on software configuration management from the software project management for MCA second year student KCA, and the subject code is KCA 013. So first I will start with the contents of my slide, which is what is SCM. SCM means what is software configuration management. Then what is software configuration? Its sources of its change. So the content are what is SCM is, what is software configuration management. Then what is basically software configuration. Then what are the sources of its change. Then what are the team members and how they will control the change, and what is the software configuration audit. So what is SCM? SCM means software configuration management, which is also known as change management. What it basically the change it requires? The change basically it requires means कि when our software is complete and it's ready for delivery. So before going it for the delivery to the customer or a client, we modify it according to the needs. So Babis defines configuration management as the art of identifying, organizing and controlling the modifications to the software being built by the programming team. So basically configuration management deals with identification of the modification which is required. After the identification of the modification, the next step is required is to organize it in a proper way and then control the modifications in the software. So its activities constitute to manage change throughout the life cycle of computer software, and it is also viewed as the activity of quality assurance. Means quality assurance means consider it as a scenario in which normally we talk कि if we buy any software or any hardware or any device, what the first thing we say, let it configure it according to our own need. So what it means we have our special needs for which we need to configure that software according to our needs. We don't need any special feature or any feature which is are of no use. So means that we call as a configuration, and it can also be viewed as the quality assurance activity. So what is quality assurance? Basically quality assurance is an activity in which we measure the quality of our software or any hardware or any device which is built by any team. So quality assurance also represents how the software works. Next, it is a set of activities in which I have already told we identify the software work product that are likely to change, establishing the relationship between them, defining the mechanisms for managing the different versions of these products, then controlling its changes, and also auditing and reporting on the changes made. So we have to develop, or we will make a document in which we report all the changes we made in our software according to the needs. So what is the difference between software support and configuration management? So support is a set of software engineering activities that occurs after the software has been delivered to the customers and put into the operation. So software support we normally call in our layman language, which is customer care. So if we have any problem in our software, then we directly call to our customer care, and from where we got the software support. But that software support we only get after the delivery of our product or we are using that product. While in software configuration management, it is a set of tracking and control activities that initiate when the software engineering team project begins and only when the software is taken out of operation. Means software configuration management is the activity which starts with the first phase of the life cycle and ends with the delivery or the operation of that product or software. So in that, the software engineer initiates the project and also track all the activities which is being developed or in the process for the development of that software. So what is software configuration? So software configuration is the items that comprise all information produced as part of the software process. So software process starts with the requirement analysis and end with the maintenance or the delivery of the project. So between all these phases, the programmer configure, develop, design, code, test that software. Okay, so this information is also termed as the software output of the software process, which is divided into computer programs, both at the source level and the executable forms, work product that describe the computer programs, and the data that is contained within the program or external to it, or on which the customer or the data on the requirement made by the client or the customer. So what are the why we need to change it, basically why we need to change or we have to manage the changes. So what are the sources of changes? The first source of change is new business or market condition. Let us consider a scenario in which we can say 10-12 years back. Nobody even knows about ChatGPT. Nobody knows about even Facebook. Facebook is started as in 2007 or 8. Nobody talks about WhatsApp. So all these softwares or applications are also the measures of business. For marketing of our business, we use all these apps. So, and we have to develop our advertising on the basis of them, and we also have to develop our product on the basis of the requirements and the business rules. So the new business and market conditions dictate the changes in product requirement or business rules. New customer needs. See, customer is also modified himself according to the developed information system, according to the functionalities of that product, according to the delivery which is computer based. Means if we take a scenario of 10 years back again, when we are studying, we use Orkut. But at that time, Orkut is the main social networking platform on which we have all accounts. After Orkut, then comes the Facebook, and after Facebook, then comes the WhatsApp. So today for social networking, the most popular app is WhatsApp. So we all those customer requirement changes, customer modified needs according to the modification in the information system, and the developer have to configure our software or configure his system according to that only, or develop the system according to that only, what the new customer needs, what the customer wants. So the next is reorganization or business growth or downsizing. So it causes changes in the project priorities or software engineering team structure. And the last is budget and schedule. So the budget and schedule is also an important constraint while we redefine our system or our product. So let us consider that there is a web development. That's a web development company in which many websites have been developed. But when we develop our website on PHP or you can say using JSP, so it will take some time, and in which that you have to do a real coding, in which you write the code, you have to know the syntax. But when you develop the same website using WordPress, in WordPress you don't need to do that much of the real code. There are some templates which you place, and and on that template you have to place your data. So it will save the budget also, if it will save your schedule also. So but according to the requirement of the customer or client, these changes we have to make, and there are four sources of changes according which we need to change our product. Then what are the persons involved in the software configuration management? So the persons involved in the software configuration management is first the project manager, who is the in charge of software group, under which all the team members work, develop, design, code, test that particular software or hardware or any product. So what is the role of the project manager? The role of the project manager is to ensure that project is delivered with time, within budget, and also have to take care about the satisfaction of all his employees and his top management also, and its employee which is working in his team also. He or she also has to monitor the development, recognizes and react to the problems, such as at the time of delivery, for example, the important team member leave the job or change his company. So it is also one of the scenario in which project manager has to deal. Okay, so that one person is project manager, another person is the configuration manager, which is the in charge of the configuration management procedures and ensures that the procedures and policies for creating, changing and testing of the codes are allowed. To control changes in code, introducing mechanism of official change request, their evaluation and authorization. So the configuration manager has also the role of authorize the changes, which is done by the project development team. Next is the software engineers, who work efficiently within the team under the supervision of project manager and create the code, test, supporting document, communicate and coordinate with the other team members, also update the task of each other task done by the all other team members, and also have one important role, which is the merging of files. If there is any discrepancy in the merging of files, then the software will create some problem. And the last person involved in that software configuration management is customer. The customer who will use that project, or who will use that product which is developed by the team of many peoples, and follow some formal procedures and request changes described in the software manual, or we can say the product manual. The next is the software configuration items, which is computer programs, documentation and the data. Computer program constitute the source and the codes and the files through which that program runs. Document is in the terms of two types, which is technical and user. First, the technical documentation means which contains all the details for that project. Technically means what is the coding language we use, what are the testing softwares we use. And the user documentation is for the purpose of the user, in which we provide all the features and how to use that features. And the third one is the data that is contained within the program. And there are two type of data. One is internal data, which is contained within the program, and the next one is external data, which is in terms of the files and the databases. So the task in the configuration management is identification, version control, change control, configuration auditing and reporting. So first I will take the identification, which is the tracking the changes to the multiple software configuration versions. Then version control, controlling changes before and after customer release. Change control is the authority to approve and prioritize any change, whether that change has to need to be done or when that change is need to be done. It is the approval and the prioritization of change. Then configuration auditing is ensure changes are made properly. Reporting is tell others about the changes which have been made. Then the version control terms are entity, variant and new version. Entity means the object on which we have done some revision. Variant is the different set of objects of that same version level. And the new version define the major changes that have been made to one or the more objects. What is the baseline? Baseline is the work product after become the baseline after its review and its approval. So when the product is reviewed and is reviewed after the changes, then it is approved, and that approved product is become the baseline or the milestone for that software development. So once the baseline is established, each change request must be evaluated and verified before it is processed. Change request came from the users, customers or the management. All three can request for some change. So the user which is using that software may request for the change, like some features which he does not like or some feature which is the requirement about the new needs. Customer can also request for the change, or the management himself also request some changes in the project which the company have developed. So the change request should be carefully analyzed as the part of the maintenance process and before they are implemented, and some changes are also due to the fault repair or the system environment changes or urgently required some business change. Next is change prediction. The change prediction is the number of changes required for understanding the relationship between the system and its environment, and it is based on some factors which are numbers and the complexity of system interfaces, number and volatility of the system requirements, and the business processes where the system is being used or it is already is in the working. So the tightly coupled systems require changes whenever the environment change. There are two type of systems which are tightly coupled or loosely coupled. So there is a change control process in which there is a authority known as change control authority makes the final decision on the status and the priority of the change based on the change report, and the engineering change order is generated for each change approved. It is a type which describe all the changes, list the constraint and the criteria for reviewing and auditing. So this change request is submitted and evaluated after the change control authority makes the final decision and the engineering change order have been approved. So after the approval, the object to be changed is checked out of the project database. Then modified is then the modified object is subject for all the testing and the quality assurance procedures. It has been checked whether that after that change the product or the product is working properly or not. Then the one important aspect is synchronization with the other systems and other softwares also. If like we do some change in our operating system, we see normally ki Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. Now we are working on Windows 11. Okay, so all these window versions should also be synchronized with other softwares also. If any of the windows which will not be synchronized with other software, then it will create a problem to a user. So the synchronization is also an important aspect. Then the board which management team and the board which analyze all these changes. First is the analyst, then the programmer, then the programmer librarian. Program librarian means which contains all the documents related to the changes, which is done in a product or in any object. Then change control board, which have one representation from the customer and some members from the configuration management team. Then the another is programmer's view. Programmer view means कि the programmer who is working on that software, first he has to discover the problem. Then after discovery of the problem, it is reported to the configuration control board. Then the board discusses the problem. After discussing of the problem, it assigns a problem to on the basis of its priority and severity level and assign the staff to fix it. After fixing, the programmer locates the source of the problem and determines what is the need to fix it. Then programmers work with the librarian to control and the installation of the changes in the operational system. And then programmer files and the change report documenting all changes have been made. The file have been created in which we document all the changes which have been made. And the issues are the synchronization, identification, naming, authentication, authorization, routing, cancellation, delegation, and valuation. So I have discussed all these points. Only the remaining is the delegation. Delegation means who will take the responsibility of any failure or the success of the product, because responsibility of success has been taken. Everybody wants to take the responsibility of success, but when there is any issue or any problem, then who will take the responsibility of that also, and it is known as the delegation. So the audit is the change specified the CEO which have been discussed earlier. Was the software process followed and software engineering standards are applied? Then the attributes of the configurations object reflect the change. Have the configuration management standards are reported or recorded and have been followed, and all the software configuration information is properly updated. Then we create a status report that what happened, what happened due to which we have to do some change, who did it, when did it happen, on what else will be affected by the change. For example, we consider it as an example that in Windows 10 we do some change, and after that change Windows Office 7 is stop working on that. So that is the effect of that change. And with this I am finishing my presentation. Thank you.